Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Jay Acharya, the CEO of Aspire Consulting and Training Limited, and this is Becoming the Leader in You podcast. As ever, in each episode, we explore real leadership stories, successes, challenges, and also the lessons behind them. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, make comments on YouTube, and you can also listen on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and more. My guest today is the founder of her namesake company, where she helps leadership teams make AI feel clear, practical, and genuinely useful. Many organizations are experimenting with technology, but not yet seeing the real impact in how leaders think, decide, or operate using AI. My guest's work focuses on closing in on that gap, and she helps leaders translate AI into better thinking, faster decision making, and measurable business impact without needing to become technical experts. Blending leadership development, emotional intelligence, and AI strategy, she brings a calm, human-centered approach to fast-moving spaces. She has a simple message: AI doesn't need to feel complicated. You don't need to be technical to lead well through change. And AI works best when people come first. My guest today is Angie Knowles of Angie Knows. Angie, hi there. How are you?
Hi, Jay. I'm great. And thank you for such a wonderful introduction.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for coming on to the Becoming the Leader in You podcast.
Thank you.
So tell the audience briefly a bit more about who you are and what Angie Knows is all about.
Angie Knows is predominantly about leadership. I became a leadership trainer, coach, facilitator probably 26 years ago and dealt with many changes. And what I can absolutely say is the changes I've seen go through the same formats, the same patterns, and helping business leaders adopt those and take them on board. And then we come to AI. And I decided a couple of years ago, AI was hitting the news, and I decided I was going to run away from it.
What happened?
I met a lady at a conference in the Midlands in Birmingham, and her discussion, her presentation about AI that she was going to talk about in breakout groups later in the afternoon absolutely blew me away. And I sat there and I thought, oh no, I've chosen the wrong breakout room. The breakout room would have been coaching that I was attending, because obviously I do coaching. And I sat there and I thought, oh my God, Angie, don't run away from this. Run hard at it, because AI is the thing. But unfortunately, it looks like the shiny new thing. And having spent the last year looking at it more closely and coming to my own senses, how don't run away from AI, I've realized actually there is a gap, and there's a gap for business leaders who know they should be dealing with this, but are considering what they know, what they don't know, and how they should use that in the business. And that's, as you said, that's where I come in and help close the gap. So my life cycle has basically been about change, but the center front of that is always people.
Right. Okay.
People.
So coming back to the AI aspect of things, what do business leaders assume that AI is?
I think they assume it's a panacea to fix everything, but it's far from that. And that's where my education with business leaders starts, with explaining to them what it is, what it should do, and how you should use it. But actually, before we start all of that, where are your time wasters in your business? Where are your problems? Where are your issues? Because bringing in a shiny new tool of any of the many different faces of AI at the moment, and how fast that's moving, is actually not a good thing. Because then we're into business interruption. What we should be looking at is, where's your bottlenecks? What's stuck? What needs fixing? And where can your business gain more productivity? And if I'm really, my deep concern is that productivity should not communicate into staff reductions. It should communicate into staff better use of staff, better use of staff's creativity, and
Yeah.
let staff solve problems, which in turn creates more potential revenue out of that greater productivity.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever I talk about AI to my clients or whenever I'm doing talks on AI, we always get down to the nitty-gritty of, is it going to take our staff's jobs? Does it mean that
Mhm.
we're going to reduce our workforce? And it's trying to get them to understand, well, no, it's about reskilling your staff and
Absolutely.
making them aware that we're not here to bring in technologies to remove you, it's to create efficiencies. And if we can
Yes.
make you more efficient, then that's the way it goes.
And the way I tend to explain it with businesses, you may have one or two people, depending on the size of your business, that answer, they are first point of contact, they answer the phone.
Mm,
They're really great people to hear what your client customer issues are.
yeah.
So solve some of the admin processes for those people, but
Mhm.
actually have them really truly listening to what the customers and clients are saying.
Absolutely.
And that's where the productivity can come from,
Yeah.
besides other areas.
Excellent. And I know we'll come back to the AI side of things as we're having the conversation, but I need to start off with our first question. The first question I have, and I always say this at the start of that first question, is that podcast is called Becoming the Leader in You. So what does that mean to you on a personal, professional level?
On a personal level, it's about being the best that I can be. And again, I'm very
Mhm,
people centric. So it's about the best leader I can be for the people who I'm serving at that current time.
mhm,
And it also means it absolutely means to me, and I've used this a lot in a lot of training that I've done recently. It's about calmness, clarity, and consistency.
mhm.
And I really believe in that consistency when done right by the leaders, and when they can achieve that consistency, that really, really, really helps
Uh-huh.
your employees become followers.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be a true leader, you have to enable followship
Mm,
and have your people on board and follow you. So what does that mean? It actually means setting clear direction, putting clear parameters so that they know they've got that autonomy
mm.
where the alignment matters most. Because when you are consistent as a leader, and the way you think and decide, it really does create that something special, that followership.
Absolutely.
And it gives people that opportunity to feel safe and
Mhm,
trusted, and I can act and I can think and decide.
mhm,
And I've seen that a few times. And one of the places where I saw this was in the 2000s. I saw a lady address a group of BT engineers.
mhm.
She totally had them in the palm of her hands.
Really.
She had that something.
What did she demonstrate, or what behaviors did she demonstrate to prove that she, I don't want to say the word own, but commanded
Yeah,
that
she
that
she
person?
she commanded respect, and this
Mhm,
was in back in the day, where she was one of a very few women leaders,
mhm.
and she literally walked across the stage, and I was at the back because I was one of the trainers that were there for the
Yeah.
duration of these several weeks of professional development for these engineers. That all the heads watched her walk across the stage and walk back, and she knew her stuff.
Mhm.
But actually, what came across to me was how clear she was in presenting that message.
Wow.
And I, not being a BT engineer, totally got what she was talking about. And that
Yeah.
to me was amazing. It was that sense of clarity,
Uh-huh.
wrapped with confidence.
Right. And I think that's an important characteristic of any leader, to be able to have that ability to characterize what they want to say, communicate it effectively, and
Yeah.
it's about captivating the audience as well.
Yes.
So my understanding there is that you took something away from her, but that also leads me into my next question, in fact, Angie, which is about somebody or a situation or a thing that actually shaped you to be the leader that you are today? Who would you say that is, or what would you say that is?
Well, it would be a combination of a few people. This particular lady from those days at BT, a combination of the people and the experience that I felt and I went through with them, and the experiences, as I say. Sometimes an ugly experience, like bullying very early on in my career before I was in my 20s. Which is really, that's where the focus for me has come from, enabling respect. And I naturally prefer to lean in to support people because of that.
How is that manifested? How is the bullying manifested?
Well, back in the day, bullying was not a conversation you could have, and you couldn't, there was no way to report that or comment about that.
Yeah.
But I can still feel that in me. And I have to be careful how sometimes that manifests itself as an emotional feeling. It was that overwhelming. And it just makes me strongly feel that I would never treat anybody like that.
Wow, that's the fact that it's got that much power to make you realize. And that actually leads on to my next part of that question, which would be, how does it show up into the work that you do today? So the fact that you don't want other people ever to feel intimidated by you or the situation.
Yeah, so it's having that emotional intelligence in the things you say and do, and the physical things that you do, that you do not, that does not manifest itself in a strength that comes across as arrogance or demeaning to other people. I much prefer to lean in with seeking buy-in from people, getting them on board, and I'm particularly aware of looking for the signs that people aren't engaging.
Yeah.
But not dismissing why they're not engaging because they're not interested. And appreciating that they have other baggage, but actually leaning in to see what it is that I need to strengthen and do that would engage them. So trying to notice the cues and trying to get them engaged and trying to have that sense of, I got to work a bit harder at this because I've not captured everybody's imagination, or I've not captured everybody's sense of purpose or involvement in this moment.
What happens in those situations then, Angie, when you say that you haven't captured that sense of emotion? What do you do to overcome that?
Then I'll try to stop, pause, ask, do people need me to go over that again? Do I need to go through it again? And if the person's naturally quite quiet and introverted, and I can be quite extroverted, then I'm very sensitive that in the next break opportunity, when the next time I see them, to just gently ask.
Yeah.
But I actually point the finger in my direction. Because I know that adage of old, when you point your fingers, there's always there's one at the other person, but there's three fingers pointing back at you.
Yeah, exactly. When you do that, automatically,
So I take that on board for myself to ask them, is there anything else I could have explained? Is there any depth that you would have heard? So I point it back at me.
Yeah. So it's about taking accountability, about supporting them and actually building them back up again. And it's going back to that finger pointing. I think it's giving away our ages because it's not used anymore, but it was one of those things that was used in the 1990s and in the early 2000s. So it
resonates.
It does resonate. I just want to go back onto something else around AI, Angie, which is about leadership again. Where do you think leaders hesitate or maybe lacking confidence when it comes to introducing AI into their businesses?
I think because leaders assume they have to know everything, but you don't. Because you should have a team around you that know more than you, because your job should be strategy and pulling that all together.
Yeah.
And because I talk about AI, it doesn't mean I'm technically the best at AI, because I don't teach or I don't discuss which particular AI tool is the very, very best in this given circumstance, and how you use it and what outputs look good.
Yeah.
Because actually they're terms of reference that you should be doing in your own business that works with your own processes.
Of course.
And I would expect, if you're asking me these right relevant conversations, that you probably have somebody on IT support who actually is a technical expert at answering these questions.
Yeah.
So with your hat on as business leader, you should actually be looking at the top strategic level and giving the guidelines and having a discussion with the team around you about what are our guardrails, how would we use this, why are we using it. It's much higher level and much more strategic, which is why I don't necessarily, I have a good understanding, of course, and I've been studying this, but I'm not here to talk technically.
Right. It's about the coaching technique that you use, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I have to admit, that's something that I use as a consultant a lot. When I'm talking to my clients in the same vein, it's always about, I don't have the knowledge or the skills, but your people do.
Yes.
And it's realizing, how can I get the best out of your people by asking, we need to achieve this. What do we have to be able to do that? What don't we have in able to do that? How do we introduce it? What's the impact going to be? Is it going to be positive? Is it going to be negative? If it's negative, why? What's the solutions to improving it? So it's using that, I suppose, the consultative brain or the coaching brain to come in. And I remember back in 2016, 2017, when I started doing things around AI Industry 4.0 and things like that out in Southeast Asia. And I wasn't a professional. However, I knew the questions to ask.
Yes.
And they're the subject matter experts. They know what they require. They would know what they need. It's just they need someone to facilitate that conversation and take them into the right place. So it's great to know that I don't feel as though I have to know everything.
No, and neither do I. And that's my whole point. A leader does not need to know everything, but a leader needs to know, what's the business here to do? What direction are we moving in, and how do we want to achieve that? And what's our bottom line, and what's our must-dos and not do's?
Exactly.
And they also should be close enough to the staff to know who's going to solve that problem and who to corral and who's a safe pair of hands to hand that to. And you've got to build that trust. And so all the change that I've dealt with and all the processes all usually come down to the same thing.
Okay.
It's consistency and trust and
and those are the traits you'd expect in any leader or any person that's leading a project or managing a project. So Angie, let me move on to my next question. It's about belief in your beliefs about leadership. Everyone has a particular thing that they bring to the table, something that is probably values-led or within them. So what belief in leadership do you hold that others may disagree with? And I know that I hold quite a few, and others do disagree, and it's my responsibility to get them to think differently. So what would something be for you?
Well, when I was thinking about this in background, I was thinking about how leaders should think better, understand the bigger picture, and lead more consistently. But actually, the way we've been talking, it's about focus and about trust, and having the strength to show your teams, not that you're vulnerable, but that you're happy to ask those questions, that you're open to say, I'm not the knowledge bank of this. Where do you think as a collective we should be with this?
Okay.
But that's not devolving your responsibility. I'm not talking about that, because you would hope the leader would make it quite clear.
Uh-huh.
I'll still come back, and for the sake of strategy, I will make a decision.
Right. Okay.
What about your input?
You use the term vulnerability or vulnerable, not to show that they're vulnerable. Is that a leadership trait that shouldn't be shown, do you think?
No, I wasn't meaning not show it. What I
Uh-huh.
mean is they should not be afraid of
Right.
being vulnerable, because
Uh-huh.
I totally believe a leader does not need to know everything.
Fantastic. And it's again, it's gracious to know that other people think the same thing, because whenever it comes to leadership, again, with my experiences with some of the clients I work with at CEO level, they feel embarrassed to show vulnerability, that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And as you said quite a few times, Angie, it's realizing actually you don't need to know everything, but you need to have the people around you that do,
Yeah,
in order to give you the information that you require to make those decisions that you need to make.
absolutely. And the thing is, by putting yourself on that pedestal that you believe that you may need to know everything,
Mhm.
you show cracks in the.
Yeah.
It's more evident to see the cracks, and it's more evident to see the gaps.
Mm.
And I work for a part of a banking, finance and leasing division, and we had the top sales guy in our area kept being promoted, and he was fantastic at sales,
Uh-huh.
right in front of the customer, but actually absolutely horrible with the rest of his colleagues,
Yeah.
me included. And I was absolutely mortified. I was quite young at the time. I was quite mortified that he kept being promoted just because he kept hitting his sales targets.
Mm.
And in the end, I was quite happy and relieved when they promoted him and created a brand new sales level of management, which
Yeah.
meant he was a sales manager, but with no staff.
Mm.
Because he didn't work with staff.
It's one of those things that's been repeated over time. In fact, when we talk about, excuse me, promotion, there's an element of let's promote the people who are producing the figures, but they may not have the experiences or the knowledge on how to manage people or communicate with people. They just know what they're doing well, and they do it well. But then they're not given the support structure to actually become the right type of managers, so that they become more more effective as leaders.
Yeah.
And you see that happening regularly. It's either the person that meets the best targets, or it's incompetence that's promoted. And it's wondering, how does someone actually think that that person who is incapable of doing anything apart from having good conversations with managers and good relationships, how does that person get promoted?
I don't know. It blows me away. But what I do know is I've had a good career out
Mm.
of first line managers being promoted, needing training and support. So I've had a good career over the last number of years.
Yeah.
And it's quite often amusing to me that when I go into businesses to help, it usually falls down to the same few things that need to be educated and helped and support. And going back to the vulnerability, the people that I see making the best wins are the people that are showing vulnerability, but not declaring it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They are open to having discussions the same way that I would have a discussion with a CEO or a founder about over AI overwhelm, and actually what does it mean, and having some very basic conversations. Because actually, while we talk about AI, it's actually not that hugely adopted, and there's this huge fear I'm behind and everything.
Yeah. I think it's making that assumption that AI is ChatGPT. Therefore, I've initiated it. I'm using it to write my reports, my emails, or Copilot, or whatever. And you say, well, actually, it's more than that. AI isn't just those two little programs. And I say little with a caveat that they're not little, but there's so many other AI pieces of software out there that can make you a lot more efficient.
Yes.
and improve the way that you operate and work. So let me ask you another question then, Angie, about pressure. Working in an AI environment and having lots of responsibilities trying to improve the technologies within the company, it can also improve increase the pressures on you as an individual supporting companies. How do you deal with those pressures?
By becoming more focused on the simplicity and the alignment of that and leaning in to get it done. So stripping things back, asking the process type questions. What is it you're actually trying to achieve? What actually matters here? And trying to figure out the next clear step. Because I need to take the businesses to what is it you're trying to improve or fix and why?
Yeah.
Because in those high pressure moments, what your teams as a leader they don't need more information. They actually need more direction and stability.
Right.
And I think that's what's happening at the moment. The staff, your followers, are looking for you to actually make a decision and explain and tell us how we operate and step our way through this.
Yeah.
While the leaders at the moment are thinking, I don't know exactly what this means. I don't know exactly how to cover this. And oh my God, we're falling behind because our competitors are using it. So what we've got to do is we've got to figure out what is it and how in your business do you want to use it? And then give the people the confidence and the authority to act with it.
Yeah.
But that authority and ability to act with it comes from clear conversations in the business. And you've got to put around it certain guardrails because there will be implications on how you train and how you use AI and how you store the data like we currently have.
Sure. So you're saying that the approach you have in any pressure situation is by having a methodical approach so that the pressure doesn't build up for you or for the teams around you, and keeping them calm, collected, clear, communicated to, so that they can't sort of deviate and cause further pressures.
Yeah. And that is exactly the same for myself, because the speed at which AI is accelerating is way too much. And that builds up pressure even for myself.
Yeah.
And then what I have to do is I have to step back and go back to those more basic and simple steps about simplicity, alignment, and keeping focused on actually what's this business trying to achieve.
Yeah. Absolutely. And do they need AI, or do they just need to have a different type of innovation?
Absolutely. Or do they just need to change a process?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because AI is there, it's not going to solve your problem if you haven't got a problem in the first place.
Exactly. Let me ask you one final question. We've spoken a lot about AI. We've spoken about the impact it has on leaderships and their teams and their functions. But this is a question about you and about talking to yourself, not as in talking to yourself, but having conversations with yourself. What's a conversation you've been avoiding to have with yourself that you think I need to respond to that today?
For me, it's about, am I being clear enough? Am I being direct enough? And am I actually focusing on what really matters to the business leaders? So for me, it's an internal conversation about where do I focus my work and how directly I challenge those leaders about what matters for them. So because if I'm honest, it's easy to stay in safer territory and not challenge people. But actually what I really want, I want to get the right results and the right impacts for them. So I'm going to have tougher conversations. And I know, and I will get to those clearer, consistent, directional type conversations. But sitting in front of a business leader can be tough, because sometimes you've got to help break those barriers down. Even though I'm invited in, they don't want to feel embarrassed or that they're not sure about what some of this stuff is or why these issues are happening.
Okay.
And my job is not to diminish those issues and problems, and not to make, which I never would, because this is that respect thing again, make anybody feel worried or overwhelmed or diminished in some way. But actually it's about me, because I'm a people-centered person and I have people at the heart of it. I don't want to feel like I'm being disrespectful, but I have to have tougher conversations, more directional, tougher conversations.
So what you're saying is that an honest conversation is that you need to be more direct, more assertive, more tough conversation. What sort of responses do you think you'd get from the clients that you're working with if you did a shift in who Angie is today to who Angie is tomorrow?
I actually probably would get to helping them solve problems more quickly and clearer.
So what's stopping you from having those conversations with yourself and actually actioning them?
I'm starting to engage in that, because I know I have to be not tougher, that's the wrong word, but I do have to.
Assertive.
Yeah, the assertiveness will bring the clarity and direction, which will actually help get them better impacts and better results.
Okay, excellent.
Like stepping into your skin a bit more.
Oh God, yes. Well, yeah, absolutely. And so hopefully you can start stepping into your skin over the next couple of days and pushing yourself further. Angie, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, and I really appreciate you taking time out. So what I would say is you've given us a better insight into who you are as Angie, and what Angie Knowles does, and great insights into the challenges and how you deal with them. So for anyone that would like to contact you for more information or detail, and how you can support their organizations with AI changes, technological changes, general coaching support or organizational support, how can they get in touch with you?
So I have a shiny new thing, which is a website.
Hey.
So I have my website, www.aknowles.co.uk. So you can email me at angie@aknowles.co.uk, or you can find me as Angie Knowles on LinkedIn.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And all I can say again is that I will make sure that all of the information that we provide, I'll put it into the description. Anyone listening on the podcast, it will be in the descriptions for you as well. However, as for today's Becoming the Leader in You podcast, I'd like to thank everyone for watching or listening. As ever, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, so that you don't miss any of the episodes. From me, keep growing, keep leading, but most importantly, become the leader in you. I've been Jay Acharya. My guest has been Angie Knowles from Angie Knows, and I'd like to say thank you and goodbye.